Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a scrappy, fun time because I know I am. And if you can't have a scrappy, fun time of this project, well, I don't think I can help you because it is scrappy and it is fun. And I just love it because it's great for anybody. And if you just got a few scraps, or if you just got some fabrics that you can cut up into strips and scraps, well, you've got what it takes to get started on this. As you can see, I've got everything that we were working on in the previous videos completed. I've done all my stitching. I went back and added some stitching. Let me show you. Sometimes you can see it better from the back side. Now, when I got through, what I did was I turned it over, and there were some areas that just looked a little gappy for stitching for me. So I thought, well, let me just go in there and fill it in. And I actually sewed it from this side. And so I did some cross stitching, what I mean cross stitching in the opposite direction, and to fill in this little bit here that was pretty blank in here. And then this end down here, I went in and did some diagonal rows there. Okay, I did a few more straight lines throughout to where when I look on the back here, nothing just pops out at me or says, well, this is just too much open space. Maybe that little piece right there might, but you know, I mean, we don't have to stitch every ounce of this. But turning it to the back side really gives you a better view, because who can tell from this side what needs stitching and what doesn't? I can't. It's too busy. It's too much going on. So I turn it to the back side and look at that. Now, I said we would fill in this little gap here, and I cut this piece to fit, so it's going to fit right in there like that, okay? And I'm going to put it under like I did the other one, just like that. Let's see, what if I do it this way? That would work. So I line that up like that, and I'll give that little check that we did to see if I'm keeping everything pretty. Oops, can't check it if I knock it out of place, can I? Okay, let's see if that's going to run about 7 inches. This thing's giving me trouble. Yes, right at 7 inches. So that's where we want it, okay? Now we want it, let's go ahead and pin it from this side, since we got it in there. And we'll do our little lacing stitching down through here. Let me get some thread here. Okay, get it separated into our 2 strands. Two strands makes it strong enough for quilting to hold this quilt good. I do have quilting thread, but I want to use the embroidery floss because of the colors and the fact that it shows up better on this scrappy quilt. I want the stitching to show, I want it to look like there's tons of stitching in there, which there is. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's get this one. Let's unpin that, make sure we got that one butted up good. Okay, all right. So it looks like it's pretty in there, pretty good and tight. We're going to start down here where we can see. Or you know what, I'm going to start at the bottom this time and go up because I'm going to come across when I get at the top. Okay, and remember that all we're trying to do is bring these two sides together. We don't want it too loose. We don't want it too tight. We don't want it to pull and overlap. We just want it to lace it together and bring them together. Kind of like you're sewing sutures if you're a scrappy quilt surgeon here. And you're just going to suture up this little cut. And so you just want it nice and neat. That way you don't create any scars or bumps. You didn't think you'd be operating today, did you? Well, there you go. All right. I hope you started yours. Please don't forget to leave your comments. Let me know if you're working along with me, how you're doing. I will answer all your comments. How you might be adapting or changing or embellishing or whatever differences you may be doing. Stick them in the comments. You might inspire someone else to try it. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff as we go along on this quilt because of the fact that it's my first time to do it this way, and that I'm doing it intuitively, so things come up. I make decisions, change my mind, turn around, do flips, whatever it takes to get it to happen for me. Okay, now I got that sutured up nice. Let's go across the top here. Get on the bottom of this and get it sewn in. You know what I did. I can't believe I did that. I put this in without putting my scraps on it. Oh my goodness. Well, there's mistake 42 already. And what do you do when you make mistakes? You fix them. So we'll see what I can do here in a minute to fix my problem. Okay. Okay, see, that was supposed to already be worked, but as you can see, it isn't. So let's go ahead and get this batting down. We just start basically doing a utility stitch here just to get it tacked in place. All right, then we're going to have to start doing some creative stuff here. Okay, let's go back to the other side. And let's just anchor that and see what, leave it there until I see what I want to do. Okay, so since I didn't do it, I got to do it now. Okay, let's see, Linda, what have you done here? You know what? I think I'm just going to be different here. And I think I'm going to do this little piece a little bit diagonal. There you go. Does a scrappy quilt all have to run the same direction? Do all the strips? No. They run however you want them to run. That's the beauty of making these in-the-moment quilts. Okay, let's see what else we can do here. Oh, we got this little piece. He's already got a little diagonal cut. Let's use him. Come on out here. Come on, there you go. Got you down there. Well, that worked out good. All right. Let's just make it work. Let's put him in there. Now we need a little piece on the end down here. What do we want to put there? Can I find some little stuff up here? Be nice, and I wouldn't have to waste a big one. I'm hunting. Don't give up on me. I'm just hunting. Okay, here's one. That looks pretty good size. It doesn't quite cover, but it's pretty good size. Now we can do a little bitty. I got a little bitty orange here. I'm not quite, well, he's wide enough on that end. I just need an ooch. Just an ooch. You know how much an ooch is? You know what? I might could do him. Nah, he's not quite there. Let's take this one and do a little diagonal cut. Put that one in there. And what we're doing here is cutting that even with our juncture here. And you know, this has a totally different color on the bottom of it. Let's use it. We can put that one there. We can bring it down a little and up a little. And bring it down. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. That'll work. Okay. Bring it down a little so you can see what world I'm doing down here. Okay. I just pieced that piece in diagonally. I'm going to stitch it. And then I'm going to put, you know, like we have here and here, I'm going to put the juncture pieces on. And that will complete this end down here. So let's cut off a little bit of this heaviness going on here. That's big enough to use. These are going to be confetti. Gotta get my pen out of the way. Okay. Confetti, confetti. Okay, let's just go up this side here. Take off this extra. Give us a look at what it might look like. Put those confetti pieces in your confetti jar. Okay, now we're ready to sew that. And where's my thread? Oh, there it is. I left it on the back. Good for me. There it was. It's ready to go. I think. Okay, I know I'm coming up here and across here, so I'm going to step down just a little bit and start sewing, because I know I'm going to put more layers up there that'll be strong. and also keep these down even better. Okay. I can take that one out. Now what I want to do here is come back right here and follow the line of the fabric. Okay. You know, I love this quilt already. It already looks and feels like an old quilt. It's soft already, and it just has that look and feel of an old quilt already. Like one that's been washed a couple times. It's one good thing about old scraps is the time you handle them so many times, they feel good. And when I make a quilt, the first thing I do after I make a quilt is I wash it. Now, I do mine very gently. Most of the time I hand wash, and occasionally I'll put it on the delicate cycle in a washing machine, but mostly I just like to hand wash them in a big tub, and you know, soak them out, and then I like to put it, and don't gasp, but I like to lay it out straight to dry. And then when it's almost dry, just a little dampness in it, I like to put it in my dryer to finish it off. And that fluffs it up. It makes those stitches pull just a little bit like old quilt looks after it's been washed, but not a lot because it's basically been dried flat. But it really gives it that soft old quilt feel. Now, if you know me, you know if I'm going to make a quilt, it's only going to be a scrappy quilt because I don't like traditional quilting. I don't like everything symmetrical and perfect, and not that I don't think those quilts are beautiful. I do. It's just that I don't want to make one. So it's okay if my quilts come out looking like they're old and used and soft and squunchy. They're certainly not going to the quilt festival, so I hope quilting this project ends up giving you lots of confidence. Now, this piece is not overlapping very much. I noticed that. So I didn't overlap it a lot. Now, I didn't do that on purpose. That just happened. So I need to do a different stitch. So this time I'm going to do just an overcast type stitch to make sure I get both of those pieces secured together. And I like the look of the stitch change anyway, so that works out for me. I would probably come back and do something in here like that anyway, so. Let's take this one out. As I said early on in the series, I'm making these videos a lot longer than I normally do. I'm doing more stitching online with you because, let me bring you back down. I found out through comments and messages people sent me that they like the videos to be longer because they want to sit down for a sewing session and they want to put on the video and they just want to work 30, 40 minutes or an hour, but they want company. And so that works for them. A 9 or 12-minute video, it just, it just leaves them in nowhere land. And they want to keep going and they're alone. So, and sure, you can change channels and find more stuff, but that's what people have told me. Could I lengthen the videos and work more so they can just work along with me? Excuse me while I take a tea break here. I made me a cup of hot chai latte. I love it. It's getting cooler here in Northeast Texas. It's about 58 degrees today, so it's perfect tea time. Okay, I need to thread up my needle again. Let's use this red rusty thread this time. Get 2 strands out of that. Oh, doesn't that look good? I think that looks good. And I am going to be switching directions because as I go around, naturally it's going to switch directions on me. So putting some of those intentional direction switches in is going to be good. Just makes it look more interesting. It makes people wonder, what in the world was she thinking? The truth would be she wasn't thinking at all. Okay. A little orange with black polka dots. You can't just put that kind of fabric anywhere, but it's perfect in a scrappy quilt. Let's take the last pin out. Okay. Alrighty. So now, let me, oh, that will come from, I hope that wasn't my piece I just sewed on, no. Let's take that. I tell you what, you see these, you see how wide those are? While I'm here, I'm just going to go back in with this new color thread, and I'm going to fill in, because one thing you want to remember to do is finish your pieces while it's small. Finish them up as you make them is the ideal thing to do, because once this quilt grows, you don't want to have to try to come back to the middle and add stitching. Okay, you want it to be quilted as you go, so finish it as you go in these small segments that you do. Okay, I am going to do a crossover stitch here. Another one of them suture looking stitches. Maybe give it just a little angle. There you go. I like that. Being the different color thread, it's showing up. Adding to the charm and interest of this little masterpiece we're working on here. Now I have a particular destination for this quilt. My husband, who's getting quite a bit older, as you know, he's 82. And he naps every day like we all do when we get old. And, but he gets cold easily. So he always has some kind of throw over his chest and arms. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I had a lap quilt? That would be just so nice for him. And he would love it because I made it. He's always been one of my biggest supporters when it comes to the things that I create. And so this is going to be for him. And I know he'll love it. And it'll be a nice weight. It won't be too heavy and it won't be too light. You know, in the winter, it'll feel perfect. In the summer, we have air conditioning here running all summer because it gets so hot. But when you're sitting still in the house and that air turns on, that blowing out of the vents, it can be very cool. If you're, you know, just sitting there doing nothing. So I think he'll really love it. Let's come back up that one at a little bit of a V shape to it. Come right back up. So exactly how big lap quilts have specific sizes, but I'm going to size this one for what I need it for. So we won't know exactly the finished size until I get it done and say it's done. It's just what I need. I'm going to go back down the center of this one, thread allowing. I think I got enough, yeah. This is what I mean by getting all your stitches in, doing everything you want to do on that section before you go to another one. And if you're going to put any embellishments on, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute, do everything, get it finished, because you do not want to come back to it when this quilt is a lot bigger. Okay, Linda, why did you have to do that? You only had a stitch or two left. Okay, let's get this. Okay, what happened back here? Obviously something went wrong. Not quite sure what. There it is. Yes, there it is. Okay, put that in our thread bucket. Now what I need are the two pieces that go across. And let me see. Do you recognize my winter attire? My robes come out in the winter. Let's see, where does that go? This is a selvage edge, which would make a great piece there for that. It's going to be well, it won't be too short because I'll be coming back over it with something else. Let's scoot it over just a little. Let's see if that's going to work, because I've got to find one to go the other direction. This one needs to go under there, like that. And that will cover up that juncture. Okay, that takes care of that. This one will be covered up when we cover this juncture. So, that's looking good. Make those two little things right there. I wanted to point out what I call embellishments. You know, when you're doing traditional quilts, you have all kinds of, you have circles, squares, rectangles, triangles, all that. And as you saw in the beginning, I was putting some triangles on each piece. I'm going to continue to do that. But I came back and I added a circle over here and another triangle down in here. And as I said, because I want this, you know, this is a quilt. Just because it's hand quilted and just because it's scrappy, it still can have some of these traditional shapes in it. And also that allows you to cover up any imperfection or spot that you miss that you need to secure or anything like that. But make sure all those pieces are also in place when you move on, because you don't want to come back again, like I said, with a huge quilt in your lap and try to wad it up and quilt that or applique that piece on. So I'm not going to add an embellishment to this little corner because it's just a little piece, and I'm happy with that. Okay, let me find my thread. I think I will probably get probably some of this darker color here. Getting down to the end of that. Okay. And we will get 2 strands out of this one. That part's been going easy, thankfully. Sometimes I can get a wadded mess for some reason. And y'all thought I was perfect, didn't you? I fooled you. Okay, here we go. Let's get you in, threaded in here, all of you. There you go. Put the knot in. Now I'm going to sew this right here off camera, and then I will be back and we will figure out how we're going to do from here. Okay, so what do you think? Are you liking it so far? I'm loving it. Let's all stay scrap happy. Well, I'm back and we have this piece here finished and in there. I am going to do one more row down the center of stitching, I believe, before I make the next piece. So let's just take care of that. That's just a little short piece there, but I do want that stitching in there. I don't want to forget it and have to try to come back later and do it. Let's get, stay with the green here that we've been using. And I did measure it out, and it's staying at this consistent 7 inches across, so I know that I'm keeping it pretty symmetrical here. And that's not critical, but you know, you don't want it to be too whoopie-doodled when you get through, because you got to put the backing and a binding on it somehow or another. So we'll do all that when we get to it, but we want to keep it pretty symmetrical here. Okay, we just want to come down here and get one more row, and I think I'll do that slanted stitch again. Just want to get it in there. Lots of stitching, very quilted. Always did love quilts that were quilted very tight, very close together, no matter what design or whatever. I always liked it. I didn't like quilts that were quilted in the ditch or just along the shapes themselves, but anyway, that's how I liked it. All right, let's take this to the back. Run it up a little and tie it off. Okay, now we are going to I cut this piece. I think I'm going to leave it whole. Let's see, is it staying true to about the 7-inch? Yes, it is. I think I'm going to leave it whole on this end as we start around, and so I'll be creating this one whole. Now I think I'm going to stay with the stripes going this way so that when I turn it, they're going the opposite way of these, okay? So let's put this one aside and let's make a new one. Okay, where do we want to start? Let's see what we got here. This one's got lots of strings on it. Let me clean it up a little bit. Put them in our tub of strings. You know what? I'm going to make him the center. Okay, we got a center. I like this distressed looking red here. That looks pretty good to me too. Here's a pink. Let's do it this way. Let's lay the red one on top. You know what? Turn that over and get the brighter colors out of it. Then I'm going to keep this one up there. Let's see if we can keep it in there. And then take this one lower down, cover this end. Okay, we got that. We've got some pretty I think we need it to go the other direction with it. It's not wide enough on that end. Let's see if I got something that's a little wider. Yeah, I do. We could still keep this pretty green and take it out to that pink, which looks pretty good to me. Lots of color play going on here, which I like. Okay, get that one down and get that one down. some red going on here. You know, I think I kind of like that green to overlap this red. I like that. What we got here? Got a stripe going on here. I think I'm going to overlap that too. Tuck it up under there. Okay, got a little bit of a stripe going on that direction and a diagonal stripe that direction. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. Okay. I'll get that in a minute when I can see it better. Okay, what do we got here? I've got this. That's just way too... let's see what we got here. That's too wide, that's too wide, that's too wide, that's too wide. Okay. This one is pretty wide too when you open it up. Let's try this one. This one's all over the place. Let's try this one. This one's pretty wide too. Don't want to waste all that. Let's see what else we got. There's one. Where's that going? Oh my goodness. I think we can do it on this end. Okay. Now I'm not really sweating the color. It's the sizing more than anything that I'm working with here. Let's see. Trying to get something that'll work that, oh, I like that. That's a crazy color. That'll look good in there. Okay, let's put it, let's see if we can do it this way and catch some of those. Okay, let's turn it over and clean it up. Always got to get the pen out of my way. Okay, there's some confetti. And this size has confetti and strips. Okay, confetti over here, strips over there. I don't know what that is, but he's going in my little pile. That going in the confetti bucket. And we'll go ahead and clean up this little edge. Now, we have some idea of what our piece is going to look like. And we can audition it and see what we think. Ooh, I like it, I like it. Let's turn it this way. Which way do you like it better? think I like it that way better. Yeah, I think I like it that way better. I like it. Okay, now I'm going to sew this, but I want to put something on there, like my little triangle. Decide what I'm going to. It's got a lot of red there. Maybe I should do my triangle here. Kind of halfway in between. Nope, don't like it there. Let's try it up here. Put it there for now. May not be permanent, but I'm thinking I want something else there, but what do I want? What do I have that could look good there? Got another little triangle here. Let's clean him up just a little bit. And it's in the purples. I've got a junction right here. You know what? I might just choose to put him there and use that as the junction cover. Okay, that will work. I might save this one. When I put my junction piece over the top of this, I can put something there that again would help break up, and I might get me another circle for that. So I need to cut a circle for that, but I think that is what I'm going to do right there. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is lace these together. But before we lace them together, I got to sew it. So I will be sewing this one off camera, and then I will come back and we will lace it together and decide how we're going to cover the juncture and if we're going to put any more embellishments on it. Okay? All right, stay with me. Well, I'm back, and I did sew this piece, and I am now on the back side, and I'm going to do the lacing and attach it from the back. Now, something I learned while doing this, when you're trying to work flat out like this, it's very hard sometimes to get a hold of this needle on this other side without it, you know, getting into the batting and all that kind of stuff. So what I did was I got a skewer here, a little skewer, and I just put it up fairly close. And then when I come through, I just run it over the top of that skewer, and it gives me plenty of room. It raises it enough that I can get a hold of it very easily. And let me tell you, it's a lot faster and a lot easier than trying to fight that, trying to get all that needle the other way. Okay, so just find you a little, just a, you know, shish kebab, just a kitchen, something you'd find in the kitchen to cook with, a little skewer, and just run it over the top like I'm doing there. Let me bring it down so you can see. I'm running the needle right over the top of that skewer. Okay, and then it gives me room to be able to come on the other side and pick it up very easily. Yeah. And it makes making this lacing just so much easier and faster. Remember, we want it snug. We don't want it too tight. We don't want it overlapping. Just about to get this one on. Okay. Then we'll turn it over and see what it looks like. Let's secure this one a little bit tighter. Give it a locking stitch. Keep it in place. Okay, we'll just put our little skewer up for now. I'm just gonna hide this thread. Just run it back in there like that. Okay, that's not going anywhere. All right, let's see what I did with that piece. Okay, let's go back down. There it is. Now, I think I originally said I was going to put this side over here, but then I decided not to because I found this piece here, and I'm going to put that over it, and that just really blends it in really well. I didn't think I needed to do the other. Let's start with this end here. Put it out there. Split the difference here. Let's pin this. Okay. Let's get that. It makes it so nice to work with it once you lace those pieces together, and it's nice and secure and flat, and you can just make such a nicer looking piece. Okay, that's even on that end. Let's make it even on this end. Okay, so that's going to be sewn down, and I'm going to get off this little piece. Then, as you see, I've already put a triangle on here, but I thought I would add something to this. I made a little snippet just out of fabric, just a decorative little snippet, and I thought I would add that right in there, just sew it in, and it just be a decorative element on my quilt. Something different, keeping it interesting, something a little more than just triangles. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I will be just sewing that in good so that it doesn't come loose when it's used or washed. Okay, so when I get that on, I believe that's going to look pretty good, don't you? I think so. And so what have we got here? Let's check see how we're doing on our 7 inches on this end. Right at 7 inches. Okay, how long are we so far? We are 18¼ inches long at this point. So 17 by 18¼ We'll sew this down, and then I will either come down this side or this side. I will start coming down one of the sides, and we'll see how that goes. I'll probably start coming down this side and putting my pieces together. Now I could make one just 18 inches long, or I could just make this whole thing, but I get a better look when I do it in smaller segments. Okay, I get a more blended look when I'm doing scrappy if I work in smaller segments and then attach. So I'm just going to stay with that because it's always worked for me. So I will be coming down this side with some pieces that I've done, and we will be sewing them in just like we've done all the others, piece by piece down that side. Okay, and also, as you can see, if we just work around, we're basically working on the outside, so we're not, the deepest seam we have will be right at 3.5 inches, so we can handle it pretty good. Thinking about those things is important to me because I'm older and my hands, you know, like I said, I have arthritis, so I have to figure out how to do things so it doesn't hurt. And so that works for me. So you can see how my plan is going to go. I'm just going to keep working around this, and we'll see how that goes. Now, because it was a little longer when I started working around it, it wasn't a square, then it means it's going to come out in a rectangle size. When we're finished, it won't be just a square piece, it'll be more of a rectangle piece. So I wanted to do that because of what I'm wanting to use it for. I want it to be a little wider so it'll go across my husband's chest and arms, and not so long, but a little wider. So we'll see how that works anyway. And who knows, this might end up being a king-size bed quilt. Who knows? Anyway, that's our plan, and that's where I'm going next with this. So I'm going to be sewing this off camera. I wanted to give you a closer look at how I sewed this piece here, and it was just simple stitching, nothing fancy, as you can see, nothing fancy. Let me turn it a long way to get a better look here at my stitching, what I'm doing with it. Okay, and I have finished the stitching. I put all the stitches in there that I wanted before I laced it on the, on the back side, before I laced it together. All right, now this piece had to wait, and this piece had to wait. Okay, because this was going over this. So now I'm going to have to handle it and work this way. So what I will do is I'll work with it from the short end, and I can handle that much fabric, bunching it up. Okay. All right. I think it's looking good. I'm real happy with it. I hope you are. And let me know in the comments if you're going to be working with me on this, and what you're doing and how it's coming, and if you're learning anything. If there's any questions you have, please drop them. Like I said, there are going to be several videos in this series because it's going to take several videos, and I really want to work a lot with you guys on this, and so that you can see that there's nothing hard about it, and we can all do this. I'm telling you, we can all do this. And we're going to come out with a beautiful scrappy quilt. Very unique, very original. A one of a kind for sure. Okay, until next time, let's stay scrap happy.